Were you able to dominate the Nuggets this game?
Um, just made shots. Made 18 threes tonight. I think we was able to out-rebound them as well, limit their second chance points, and that's pretty much it. I think we played good defense. Like I said, they went 7 for 26 from 3, and we didn't really allow them to get a lot of second chance points.
Kawhi, Shaq always talks about the others. We know what we're going to get from you and James night in, night out. But when you bring along guys like Batum, Norm Powell, Zoo, all those guys, can you talk about what you guys' ceiling is, knowing that when those guys consistently play well on both ends, where this team can go?
I think they've been playing great all year, to be honest. Norm averaged, 20 points. Zoo double-doubles all year. Think about 15, 16, 10 rebounds a game. So, as long as we consistent, we're sharing in basketball and everybody contributes, I think we have a good chance to win. We've been just trying to do that and stay great collectively all year.
Hey, Kawhi, right back here. What is it in your mind or in the game plan when you go into a game 2 where you're going to attack, whereas in a game like today, perhaps maybe more of a team floor game? How does that trigger? What is in your mind?
Just based off, T. Lue coaching the game, seeing what he sees, and just adjusting and, trusting your teammates. Everybody contribute tonight. It was a great game for us all. And, if we could, do this throughout the playoffs, it would be amazing. But, Denver's a great team. They've been here before. And, we got to still stay focused and, play together and come out with a great mindset Saturday.
Just to follow up, if there's a moment in a game 2 where you're just you're telling Ty, this is my night, does that ever happen where you're just, I feel it?
No. It's game 3 tonight, so that's behind us. You know what I mean? That's in the history books already.
Hey, Kawhi, what do you think has been key for you not only to just be healthy at this time of the year, but to be playing at such a high level when you look at the last month of regular season and the playoffs?
Obviously, just focusing in on my body. Being able to, get my minutes up late in that last month, get in shape, basketball shape, as well as just, able to stay strong with the lifts and all, just combining all that together and just having a focused mindset, really, of still wanting it to be good and contribute to the team. And like I said before, just happy to, be front line with my teammates and able to suit up, good or bad. And, that's what I'm taking pride in and feeling great after the game. And I feel good and happy that I was able to play.
Kawhi, from the jump, it seems like this team this season has had the best defensive Clippers team we've seen in a long time. And that defense doesn't seem like it comes without a certain level of chemistry and camaraderie. Can you just talk about what it's like for you out on the floor with a team this good at defensively where everybody's covering each other's backs and their weaknesses?
I have to give, credit to our coaching staff, starting with JVG, just being focused on that end and coming in with, a passionate and, aggressive mindset for us all. And it kind of triggers down to us. And then from there, there's guys on the floor that want to guard. They're not, just pointing at me and telling me to take them. These guys is looking the opponent in the eye and say, I want them. And they motivate me defensively, especially Chris Dunn, just seeing how he plays every game. And, with Derrick Jones coming in and Zoo being that back line and how they just want to play. They've motivated me to play, you know what I mean? And I think that's where it comes from. You see other guys just, digging in deep and, want to guard. And it just, trickles down to everybody on the floor.
Kawhi, curious to know what your best healthy alternatives to Gatorade are.
I'm not mentioning that right now. You could talk to me after.
All right, we'll talk after. In terms of Game 4, T. Lue was talking about validating this performance tonight. How do you get an afternoon game on Saturday? How do you validate what y'all did today and go up 3-1?
I don't know. I mean, like I was just saying, just take this win tonight, and then just circle back, try to get as much rest, and know the job isn't complete. This is a great basketball team that we playing against. Great players with Jokic being MVP, and Jamal Murray always, playing great in the playoffs. And, they got other guys as well playing great defense. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter shooting. And we just have to have that mindset to come in and just do it again, I guess, and stay focused and know we're playing a hungry team.
Kawhi, so you had 39 points in last night, the other night 15-19 from the field. Tonight, obviously 21 points. Your offense is definitely elite from the field, but your defense, you've always been locked in on defense with rotating, always going to be locked in points of the game. Do you think this era has kind of ran away from defense and glamorized offense a little bit too much?
Nah, not really. I mean, at times, it might be teams or games, but I think the offense got a lot better. It's a lot of pace, a lot of threes. Guys are, just coming from me being a defensive player, it's a lot of 6, 8 guys that could dribble and shoot threes now, or get to the paint that is very athletic. So I think the skill level's gotten there, and then at sometimes you might have those nights where your team isn't as good or they're not as focused on guarding, and you see crazy games. But everybody's trying to play for sure. Like I said the other day, it might look easier watching, but if you go out there and play, you're not gonna get no easy bucket.
Well, I remember one of the last times that I asked you about Into a Dome, you mentioned how good the fans have been and wanted to give them a deep playoff run. What was the energy like in here tonight, and how do you feel the fans came out for you guys?
It was great. They did a good job of filling up the seats. They were cheering all night, especially people on the wall. But it was a collective unit out there. It was very loud at times. I didn't know where he was, but it was fun. It was a fun game to play.
James, I know you mentioned the level of excitement and the expectations that you had for this building and playoff game 1 for Into a Dome. Just what can you say after having played in it?
It was a good start. It was a good game 1.
From the fan
game 1 and Into it.
Yeah, from the fan aspect though, just what was the energy?
It was cracking. It was loud. It was just how we expected it to be. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the reasons why we jumped out to a huge lead. You know what I mean? They got behind us and we just rode that wave.
I feel like you kind of made it a point of emphasis to be aggressive early. Was that something you were thinking about coming into this game that you felt this team needed?
That's always. Me being aggressive is not just scoring. It's, facilitating. It's doing other things. So, I got some shots to fall early, and that kind of just, got the guys rallied up, and, everybody made shots. We had opportunities, especially in the first 2 games, and shots that we didn't make, which this league is a make or miss league, you know what I mean? So we knew other guys, that hadn't, made shots in the first 2 games were going to make shots, and, they did that tonight.
James, you guys finished the first quarter on a 10-0 run, and it seems like from then on out you guys imposed you guys' will defensively.
Yep.
Never really looked back. Why are you guys so locked in defensively? I know game 1 you guys fell short, but it seems like since then you guys have been locked in. You guys haven't really had any letdowns.
We've been that way all year long.
Yeah.
Like, that's our calling. Like, that, if we wouldn't even be in the postseason if it wasn't for our defense. So we know, like, going into games, like, no matter what happens offensively, we gotta be on point defensively. That's what keeps us in the game. So we've been like that all year, and as much as perfect as we want to be, like we aren't. You know what I mean? So we make mistakes, we cover for each other, and we just continue to be resilient and keep fighting defensively. And the first game, we 20 turnovers on the road, you can't win. it's very, very difficult to win, and we still gave ourselves a chance. Tonight, how many we had? 10. Like, that's the game right there. Game 2, we had 10 as well. So you do that and you rebound the basketball, you make shots, you give yourself a chance to win.
James, to you, right? I'm curious to know, like, what the conversation at halftime was. Like, you guys had a lead, and you know that, you play well to start that second half, and you have control of the game. Like, what was the conversation like to just amongst each other to maintain control that y'all built and established?
There are some things that we still could have got better at, like pick and roll. Jokic is up. He's doing a good job of being up. And, the first half, Zoo had like 3 or 4 opportunities where he got the ball into the basket and he missed a layup. I think he got fouled one time, and I forgot what happened the other 2 times. But, like, Zoo, go dunk the ball. Like, finish those plays. You know what I mean? So there's things like that offensively that we can get better at. And there's some things that we adjusted to defensively that we saw that they were doing that we felt we can get better at. And so it's just, it's constant. Like, there's no let-ups. There's always communication, and there's always, room for improvement for us.
Was good, and also great game for you today, man.
Sure.
Also, I want to say, you being the vet, the OG of the team, what are you telling your teammates after that victory that y'all just had? Like, hey, it's just one game, but let's try to continue this throughout the rest of the season or the rest of the series.
We got to start preparing for Game 4 now. You know what I mean? Like, we know what we're dealing with. You know what I mean? Like, Jokic is something special. And those guys, him, Aaron, AG, and Jamal and Michael, they've been together for so many years. They won a championship together. So they've been down in the series before. Like, for us, it's just, we can't get too out. We're not celebrating like we do what we're supposed to do. You know what I mean? So I've been in the playoffs for 16 years, and for us, it's just preparing ourselves now for Game 4, and the earlier we can get a jump on that, the better off we'll be. But it's gonna be even tougher for Game 4. We got to mentally prepare and know that. So tomorrow, we'll go over some things, we'll walk over some things, and we'll be ready to go for Saturday.
James, the Lue JVG coaching pairing, for those that haven't been able to be in a practice or a huddle,
Elite.
what makes them so effective? Yeah.
It's like the perfect relationship. I don't know. They know what the hell they doing. You know what I mean? Seriously. Like, they always on the same page. Like, they don't overstep each other's toes. They, tell us what we need to do on both ends of the ball, and, we go out there and do it. But it's just like, they yin and yang. Literally yin yang twins. It's fucking hot up here. Seriously.
James, you guys have been priding yourselves on your defense, and it feels like your defense wouldn't be as good as it would be without the camaraderie and chemistry you guys have. Like, we've seen the team photos you guys post and everything. Can you just tell us about, like, what's that chemistry been like and that camaraderie as you head into that playoffs? Because you can see everybody celebrating for each other.
Very fun. Like, this is what when you think about an NBA team, this is what you envision. I've been on several different teams, and it's probably one of the coolest teams in the sense of like everybody understands who each other is, accept them for who they are, and go out there and compete and have each other's back. Knowing like who's the guys, this is what you're great at, this is what you're great at, this is what your weakness is, but we can cover up for that. Like, we all know, and that's what makes this team so special. So, we got a big Game 4 for us, and this is our first time going through this postseason, and as long as we continue to communicate and have each other's back, like, good things are bound to happen for us.
James, you had mentioned like this is one of the coolest teams you ever been on.
Yep.
Can you talk about just what it means to you to play with a bunch of selfless guys?
Yeah.
Guys who just want to play defense and want to win and have the chemistry and sacrifice.
That's a part of it. You know what I mean? Like, guys probably feel like they need to be shooting the basketball more, or getting more touches, or running more plays for whatever you want to call it. Like, these guys know that the ball's gonna get to them eventually. You know what I mean? However that looks. And Lue and our coaching staff do an unbelievable job of like mixing it in. For me, my job is easy. You know what I mean? I can score, but I'm the facilitator as well. So I can understand when guys are getting shots, when guys are going, and when it's time for me to exert myself. And that's the cool part about it. You know what I mean? I'm like running the show, but understanding like, hey, Zoo might have it going tonight, or Norm, or Y might have it going. And I'm cool enough to where if I don't got it going, or if those guys got it going, I can facilitate and make other guys better, or get those guys who got it going that night the ball. So, You know, it's possession by possession. It's game by game. Tonight it was a collective group. Last game we see why had it going. You know what I mean? First game I had it going. So it's a balance of just having each other's back, see who has it going, and then just riding the game. And it's going to dictate. It's going to show you, you know, who got it going. So for our team, you know, we got each other's back, and that's it's pretty cool to be around.
James, I just want to know, what was the feeling like playing with such a loud and supportive crowd during the whole game?
It was really loud. It's probably the loudest it's been all year. You know what I mean? We expected that, but, you know, like I said before, Game 4 needed to be even louder. You know what I mean? Denver is a very, very tough team. They've been through it all, and, you know, they're not going to just give in, so we got to make sure that we come out ready to go prepare for Game 4. Thanks.
When you talked about wanting to play better, was this an example of that? And what was behind you guys playing at a higher level tonight?
Yes, this is what I was talking about. Like I said, our fans was unbelievable tonight. And just be able to come home, play our first playoff game into a dome, it was very exciting. And our fans came out. They showed up and showed out. And like I said, guys played better, played well. Norm was huge for us tonight. You know, scoring the basketball, but also making the right play in the pick and roll versus the blitzes. And, you know, we got to build off of it. Like I said, it's only 2 games. But today, I liked our approach. I like what we did defensively. And, you know, it's still going to be a tough series. You know, it ain't over because we, you know, had a blowout. It's only 1 game. You know, so we got to be ready to come and validate that on Saturday.
Ty, what is it about Nico that you can just throw him into a playoff series no matter what and he'll deliver every time?
Because he's been in big games. He understands his role, and he's a star in his role. You know, whatever we ask Nico to do, he does it every single night. Whether it's 1 shot, whether it's 10 shots, whether it's no shots. You know, he's going to be the same person, same player every night, and that's what we love about him. You know, unbelievable connector, and everybody loves playing with him.
I felt like James had a really good control over the game today at 13 in that first quarter, only 1 turnover, 9 assists. Spent most of that second half, I think, kind of just finding guys. What did you make of how he kind of approached and handled the flow of the game today, seeing when he needs to score or get guys involved?
Yeah, I thought he did a great job. You know, a masterpiece of just, you know, taking what the defense gives you. If they're going to be in a drop, you know, we want to attack downhill. If they're going to be in a blitz, making the right read. And just the biggest thing for us, you know, just watching film tomorrow, just, you know, guys, you know, getting to their spots, you know, and it's different spots than we've been in all year. And so it's taking some time to kind of really find the flow and the rhythm. But, you know, Game 4, we should be a lot better, understanding what we're looking for and how we want to set up. And so I thought James did a really good job of just being patient and taking what the defense gave him.
See, just the atmosphere in here. You had so many guys who used to play for this team come through tonight, just other guys who play in the league. How do you feel seeing that, you know, in the first playoff game in this building?
No, it feels good, you know, seeing CP, seeing Pat Bev, you know, and, you know, Pat Bev with the Zubac jersey on, you know, so, you know, it just feels good. Like I said, the series is far from over. We understand that. But tonight, you know, it was a good showing for us. So we got to come out, like I said, and validate this on Saturday.
Coach, early in the game, Denver hit you guys with a couple baseline cuts for layups and dunks. But it seemed like in that first quarter, after that you guys really tightened up defensively. Didn't give up 30 points in any of the quarters. What did you guys see that allowed you guys to kind of tighten it up and not give away those baseline cuts that you saw in that first quarter?
Yeah, we just looking at it, you know, we thought that, you know, Jokers knew how we've been playing, you know, in the first 2 games. And like I said, you know, the best player in the world, and he was baiting us, you know, early on in that first quarter where we were coming, and he saw us coming, but he acted like he didn't, and he was really picking us apart. And so in that second quarter on through, we did a good job of just really selling out on those corner cuts, kind of trying to stay at home, especially if Zoo's guarding them, and just kind of mix it up. But like I said, JVG did a good job of just, you know, adjusting to what we need to adjust to, you know, once they got those corner cuts, and we was able to take care of it after that.
Ty, kind of after game 1, I'm back here. After game 1, you said that you kind of feel like the week off going into game 1 kind of could have impacted you guys in terms of fatigue and guys looking a little bit rusty. How do you feel that the guys have kind of rebounded from that to get into the flow of this series?
Yeah, I think they've done a good job of rebounding. And like you said, 11 turnovers tonight. I think, you know, with our core guys, I think we might have had 8 or 9. So, you know, we understand we take care of the basketball. You know, we can get we can get really good shots, you know, and just don't get bored with the process. Understand what they're doing, and you know, for every situation they have, we have a different alignment to get to, but we got to do it with pace and get to our spots. Just don't get bored with it. You know, just take what the defense is giving you. If it's not your night tonight to get shots, make other guys better. And I thought Kawhi and James did a really good job of that tonight.
Coach, so also in the second half, Kawhi had a nasty in-and-out crossover. Got an and one play. Kind of talk about what he is like after like practice and before practice, how hard he works, because nobody really knows inside story. But what kind of can you tell us about Kawhi's work ethic?
You see where he's at today. You know, I think all the injuries, you know, everything he's been through to get to this point, like I said, to work hard to get back for the playoffs and to be at full strength. And so that right there just tells you everything about Kawhi. He could have easily packed it in this year, you know, but he wanted to play. He wanted to be out there and help his teammates. And like I said, he's back to being a player, you know, a healthy player, which he's a very great player when he's healthy. And also just give a lot of credit to Ben Simmons. You know, I thought he came in and changed the game in that first quarter just with his pace. I thought he did a good job of showing Joker different coverages, and his pace and everything was really good for us. And so everybody, like I said, chipped in, and it was a team effort. You know, Norm back on track, and so I'm feeling really good about, you know, where we at. We still have 2 more games, and just kind of go from there.
Ty, on a night like tonight where there's so many positives to take away from the game, is there one specific thing that stood out to you offensively or defensively?
Just taking care of the basketball. You know, we talked about it, you know, and even tonight we talked about taking care of the basketball and rebounding the basketball. And so to out-rebound them by 10 after they out-rebounded us by, I think, 18 last game, that's a huge turnaround for us. And so just lock into the small things and to the details. And when we do that, you know, we'll be fine.
Coach, how much credit goes to Jeff Van Gundy for the team's defense?
All the credit.
Yeah. He was moving, screaming, and very active in the bench.
All the credit. Thank you. Yep.